I like to start our classes with some breathing, whether you prefer the face up or face down position. All good, just get comfortable. This is the last week of this routine. So next Thursday, I'll have a new class. Take some time to get the posture aligned, work out anything that doesn't feel quite right. The shoulders, the neck, and just enjoy this time to do some deep breathing and connect the nervous system, the neurology to the biology. Here we go. Nice slow breath in, little pause at the top, and a long slow exhale. Getting the breath as deep as you can into your abdominal cylinder. After your next breath cycle, we'll transition to hands and knees and start to warm up the spine. Taking the hands and knees wide enough that you have enough room to move through your shoulders and hips. Just taking some time, not pushing extremes. Gently looking up as you drop the front side down. And then starting in my low back, I'm rounding up through each section. Letting my head be heavy and pushing the floor away a little. Nice stretch between my shoulder blades. From here, I'm going to take us to our knee bends and our ankle work. So if you like to use a stretch strap for that, and just take some time to lie on your back. Once again, take attention to the posture through the low back if you need to adjust. And keep your non-working leg bent like this, a little easier on the back, or if it feels okay to extend it out, just need to make any adjustments. Chin tuck. And then here's a nice knee bend, pulling the knee in, gently getting stretched through the hip, and then extending out, trying to get all the tissues in the back side of the leg at length. And for some folks, they might need to back that leg off a little bit so that they're not with a bent knee. I'm just checking that your leg is straight. After about 5 of these, we'll hold it in the extended position and start to open up the ankle. Go with about 3 to 5 of these, just depending on how it feels and where you want to focus your attention. Pointing the toes, spreading them, pulling them down, pushing the heel to the roof. Here's the ankle. Rolls sole of the foot in and out. Different angles. I had to laugh there because my foot made a very loud sound. One never knows what the body's going to say. All right, so sole of the foot in and out, and then some big circles. taking some time to really get the range that you can access and with consistency improve. Alrighty, switch to the other side. Do you need to realign the posture at all through the back or the shoulders and neck? And let's start with our knee hugs. And then keeping the legs straight in extended position. Same routine on this side. Big carryover with maintaining your ankle function, range of motion to walking, balance, walking speed, foundation of our posture. So taking the time to do this kind of work, working on the insides, the internal piece of movement health is worthy. Personally, I've gotten to quite like this time of the day. It's quite relaxing. Okay, so finishing off that side, we'll come to half kneeling and grab a ball so we can work the shoulder cars in a moment here. But first, we'll start with one foot out and just taking some time to think about whether your pelvis is level. Often, without thinking about it, the up knee side rides a bit high. So you can just kind of think about that pelvis to the armpit and give it a bit of a 1, 2. And then when you feel level, you just hold it there, get nice and tall in your posture. The front foot can be a little wider just so you've got a good base of support. And then we'll lace the fingers and just start to work some figure eight. So I'm trying to draw a big circle with my elbow for half the 8, and then over to the other side, a couple circles. Just looking at the elbow as you take it back and down, feeling some work through my shoulder blade and so getting some neck mobility. Switch direction. Loosen things up. And then today we'll go with the shoulder movement from the down leg side with a ball in hand. So just regain your posture, down leg side. Turn here so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just taking some time to slowly trace what I can get out of my shoulder by bringing my arm up and as close to my ear as possible. Then I'm going to turn my hand back and sort of push back. It all feels good. I'm not moving through any pain or discomfort. If you were, try to not find the pain, so stop and work around it, or don't go through it. Now I'm rewinding, trying not to lean back, make the movement from my shoulder and keeping my posture nice and tall. Okay, good. The slower we go for that, the better. I'm switching knees and just take some time to do the little hip leveling again. This time, instead of doing the figure eights, let's go with just turning one arm in and one arm out, sort of rotating. You can turn your head and look at your palm that's up. Just slowly getting the rotation through shoulder. After a couple of those, let's take it slowly into what I call S pattern, where you're just trying to take one hand into the small of your back and one hand behind your head. Looking straight ahead, not forcing anything. Got those elbows open. And then we'll go to the shoulder motion on this side. The ball, nice and slow. deep breathing. Let's keep our shoulders healthy. Up into the small of the back. Slowly rewind. Great job. I'm going to take us back to all fours, and we're going to reach opposite arm and leg off. Find neutral back, distribute the weight between your hands, and then just take the hand and knee off. You can hang out here in a hover. You could go a little wider. You could extend out further. Whatever you decide to do, just try to keep the breath going and not let the back arch increase or round up. So keep neutral back, little low back curve. And you can just alternate sides. The full reach where you take your leg straight back, extending your knee, really using your hip, and the arm straight forward. I've got my palm rotated to the center and my thumb to the roof. Can I get a little higher maybe without getting into my neck? Just matching what you do side to side, but not feeling like you have to go to full extension every time. In fact, oh, I think I let my head drop, so just fix that a little bit. I like doing somewhere I'm out here, so I was going to say, in fact, different angles challenge you differently, and that's a good thing. So mix it up, play with it, and wherever you're at, just finish that move off. And we'll go into some frog circles today. So we'll take the knees a little wider. I've got my toes gently pointing out, and I'm going to shift my hips back to the right, over to the left, and then weight shift forward into my hands. Getting some good stretch and feel like I'm creating some space in my hips as I circle around. I'll switch direction for a couple. Hello, inner thighs. Okay, now sit straight back with the hips and then gently turn and look over a shoulder. Be curious with your eyes. Come forward again and over to the other side. Don't move too quickly through your neck. But allow your eyes to look at something different and you safely work your neck mobility. No holding your breath. We're going to take us into a plank hold with the option to make it a rock. The plank hold, you find neutral back and step back with your toes, tighten up your hips. Option to hold this, or if you feel like adding the rock, you just push away from your hands and weight shift forward and back, getting some movement in through your heels and toes. If this feels too challenging, the bear hold is a little easier with your knees bent, not quite as much percentage of your body weight. Take a moment to stretch out your wrists. This is all just progressing for the greater good of your core strength. We'll do one more. How long you hold these is, depending on how long you can hold the form. So your shoulders aren't collapsing. There's not a lot of what I call shake and bake. As soon as that sort of shaking starts, you should stop, take a break, and build up your capacity, length of time that you can do that over time. Okay, so now we'll go to the row with one leg up in the air and then the single leg bridge. So in this position with the row, kind of fun because you can also get a stretch of your up leg, okay? You can have the down leg straight or bent, kind of similar to when we do the ankle mobility. Now I'm walking my hands up and checking the tension. Now as I pull down here, I'm not only getting some work through my shoulder blades and shoulder complex into the floor, trying to squeeze my shoulder blades together, but I do feel a fair bit of connection through my torso. My rib cage is down. I'm not like jamming my low back, but I can have a little low back curve, but I feel my abdominals there. So go for about 10 pulls. Change the angle of the elbows, but just stay out of the neck, so no shrugging. And breathe. If you find yourself holding your breath, that's usually an indication that something is a little too challenging. So play with the degree of difficulty, less tension, back the leg off. After 10, switch the top leg. Here we go. Wonderful. Bridging. You can go with a double bridge or take it right to the single leg. If you're new to this, you're going to start with the 2 feet on the ground, bridging up, fully extending the hips. So you're not here. And this is full extension. Higher than this, I'd be into my back. So stop short of feeling it into your back. If you have a big curve in your back, you weren't going to want to teeter something down so you feel a connected torso, and then lift the hips, tightening up the hip muscles. Single leg, 1 foot's off the floor. I like to grab onto my rib cage and behind my thigh so that I have this sense that I'm coming up and I'm not flaring up into a back arch. My rib cage stays integrated into my torso. This works well. It's very single leg hip driven. They're a lot harder than the double bridge. So take your time building up your rep range to 10 per side. But if after 2 you sort of feel like, oh, maybe that's going to be a bit crampy, then just switch, right? And be okay with that. I've had a lot of clients start with just 1 single leg bridge per side, back to some doubles, that kind of thing. Okay, then let's repeat these. So we'll come back onto hands and knees for the bear or plank rocks. Spread the fingers, anchor in the shoulders. So I'm weight shifting into my hands, not just at the base of my wrists. It's going to be a bear hold or step back into a plank, adding the slow rocks through the toes and heels, weight shifting, making sure you're not collapsing through the neck and shoulders. There's my breath. Take a moment, shake out the wrists. How did that feel? You basically just want to find an adequate challenge, not making it too easy, not making it too hard. You can count your breath cycles or your rocks. Wonderful. And then we'll go back through the row and the bridge, and we'll come to standing for a bit. My apartment is getting some drainage work done this week. So we've had these like notices, do not flush anything down the sinks or toilets between the hours of 10 and 2. And you realize how many sinks and toilets and how many times you do put some things down when you can't do it. You know, it's like if you flush anything down and are caught, you will be fined. I don't want any flush fines. Thank you very much. No, thank you. Anyway, I've got little notes and toilet seats closed, etc., trying to make sure that I remember. Here we go. And then switching the top leg. Adjust the posture. How does this feel? A lot going on here. The row. Got my top leg under stretch. Feel some front core work, working on my neck and chin posture. Like it. Okay. And then what about those bridges? Level the pelvis. Make sure there's not a big arch in the back. Could stick with the doubles. Go with a single leg. Try not to move that base foot closer to center. Every time, little pause at the top, come down, using that hip, keeping the hips level. Count your reps. Work up 6 to 10. Switch. That was 6 for me, felt good. Got a little burn, kind of warmth in my hip. Felt like enough work. And 6. Great. Okay. So moving to the standing exercise. Today I'm going to start us with the balance reaches. So once you finish your bridges, feel free to grab some water. And we'll go 3 balance reaches per side, whether you choose to balance to a piece of furniture or in the air. It's all good. I've always been demonstrating the balance this way, and I realized that it's probably a good idea to demonstrate it this way so you can see what I mean when I say try to keep the hips and the shoulders level, trying not to rotate, right? Or kind of come into anything like that. So that's why reaching to a piece of furniture or the feeling of that is what you want to try and achieve. Nice job, Shirley. Okay, Shelley. Sorry, Shelley. I think I've called Shelley Shirley and Shirley Shelley a few times lately. She says, I don't know. She's like, I don't care. I'll go with whatever you say. Okay. So no Sheilas. All right. So here we go. Breathing in as you reach. And exhale as you come back up. Take some time to think about what's going on in the foot. You can spread the toes, get a good connection, even rolling your foot out and then refinding the best arch that you can. Balance is practice. So it's really just taking a little time. There's a lot going on through the hip, through the core, through the connection you feel with your feet. Okay, next up, we're going to the halo and squat about 5 times. So I'm taking a weight that I know I can bring around my head and load up my shoulders and work my core a little bit. And then I hold the weight at the chest and go into a squat. Remember, you can adjust the width of your feet, the direction of your toes. Stay nice and tall as you do this, trying not to lean to the side. So you're using your whole torso core muscles. There's round 2 of 5. Breathe. Nice. If you found the balance challenge enough without any more degree of difficulty, let's go back and do that one. If you'd like to take it up a notch, I'm going to take the weight that I'm holding. decide what foot I'm going to balance on. And I'm not reaching forward with the weight. It's going down as I hinge my leg back. And then I'm coming back up to posture. You might not get quite the same distance. Inhale. Maybe you're only to here where you have the control, or maybe you can go further. But try to get a sense that you're keeping your shoulders and sort of tall posture in line. So as I hinge, I'm not letting the weight round my back. I'm still getting a sense of work through my shoulder blades, trying to keep my chin in line, and come back up. So now we're loading through that single leg. Push the heel to the wall behind you is a cue that I really like, so I feel like I'm extending my back knee. And be okay with a little bit reduced range, because that's how you're going to build the strength safely. The third exercise in this set is a variation of a push-up. Whether you do this on the wall or an elevated surface or the floor, you want to set yourself up in a plank position. Okay, the wider the feet are, the wider the base of support, so it tends to make it easier. As you pull yourself in, you can create the tension and push yourself away. I'm trying to work my shoulder blades and shoulder complex. My shoulder blades are coming together a little bit, and I push away. If this variation seems like it will be too easy for you, just try it, because you can get a lot of strength gains from doing push-ups on an elevated surface. When you feel ready to come to the floor, you still establish that high arm plank. You can do a mini push-up. You could do just a lower to the floor, putting a pillow underneath your front side works, or connecting and working through a full range of a push-up. Okay, once you come from the standing position to the floor, the percentage of your body weight goes up, so it becomes much harder. So that's something to consider. Do a lot up here before you stress yourself out down there. Okay, so let's go through this again. Halo with a squat, balance reaches with the option to add load, and push-ups. Then we'll move on. So here's my halo from the side. I've got to do it perfectly now. So I'm trying to stay tall with my neck. And here's one that I see a lot of, right? Like kind of trying to do that. So when I don't lean back, I'm using all of the muscles through the front core. When I don't lean to the side, I'm using all the muscles here to stay upright. So as you get stronger, you might take a bit more weight. Find a nice slow squat to a depth you can control. Fix your gaze on something that might help you to keep your posture in check. Good. Nice job. I'm going to stick with this weight. You could certainly go heavier or put the weight down and go with body weight. So connecting my foot, opening my toes, breathing in, challenging myself to hinge and not twist. Come back up to posture. The leg that I'm balancing on, I'm being mindful that I'm not locking out my knee. So there's a softness to the knee. You don't want to hyperextend your knee joint as much as your brain might want you to create some stability. Switching sides. Connect with my foot. Nice big long open toes. Back up. finding the variation of push-up that you would like. Wall, floor, nice even connection. Nice work. Next exercise, press and reverse lunge. Step back, opposite to the weighted hand today. So I'm taking a weight in my right hand. I'm going to press, and then I'm going to step back with the leg opposite to the weighted side. With the reverse part of this, you want to step back, get control of your toes and balance. You can drop the back knee a little or a lot. The front knee could stay over your ankle or go a little forward if that felt okay on your knees. Knees. Just working to a depth you can control. About 5 or 6 per side, depending on how challenging you're finding this. It can just be a tap back if your knees are sensitive. It could just be something like this. Okay, and if for some reason you can't press overhead because of some discomfort or limitation, then what you could do as an alternative is just make a fist and hang out here for a breath cycle and avoid the pressing part. Always find workarounds for yourself. Don't move through pain. Keep moving though. Always feels good to get the whole body moving from head to toe. Okay, open band pulls on angles. So I'm going to take a resistance band. I'm going to use my loopy band today. This one has loops sewn into it. And I'm just standing feet hip width apart, no locked knees. And I'm going to check the tension to open up about 10 times on different angles. And you know what? I was a little easy on myself. I'll go one loop in, and then let's just see how that feels. Yeah, a little bit more work through the shoulder complex. Any angle goes. You can go straight out low, slightly bent elbows. Opening up feels good too. Oh, yeah. You want to make it a little harder, you can hold the open position just for a moment. Love that. I think I'm in the I love everything today. Okay, skaters is next. Okay, so if you have an option for some sort of slider, hardwood floor, face cloth, carpet, you can use something that slides back on a 45-degree angle and comes back up. If you don't have a slider, you can just simply tap and come back up. But things that you're looking for is the stability of this base leg. So as you slide out, you don't want to have loss of the connection through the arch of your foot. It could just be a tap, feeling like you're going to keep the knees wide. Some folks might want to add some load. So I've got this exercise in one of my other classes, and you can hold some weight at your hips, right? That's an option. Lots of choices. And using your arms is a great idea. You can make this a bit more complex by reaching out with your arms, coming back up, working up to about 10 per side. If you have a slider, put a little pressure into the floor as you come back up. That way you feel the work coming through the hip and the inner thigh. Very nice. Love the open arm. Finish those reps off, and I'm going to go to the deadlift and hinge motion next. I feel like in the last few weeks I've gone from demonstrating the heavier deadlifts to dumbbells. Now this is something in the middle ground, to 10-kilogram kettlebells. Got the weights lined up right between my feet. Hinge myself back, anchor in the shoulders, breathe in, come up top. Rebreathe. I'm not letting the weights round my back. The neutral back position is maintained through the lift, up, down. If getting the weights off the floor is a problem, like it's too much and you can't get there to the handles, you're losing your neutral back, take some dumbbells and start the hinge from the top down. The difference with the hinge that is the hips back. The knees bend, but they don't go forward like in a squat, right? So it is hence the hip hinging motion. Hips go back to the wall behind you, stand up nice and tall. Okay, we'll run through this again, starting with the press and reverse lunge. I'm going to demonstrate this with a 8-pound dumbbell. Press, reverse. I'm going to do 5 is that inner dialogue. Modify the rep range. They're just suggestions. Good. Switching sides. Press up, down, anchor the weight. A little balance going on here too with the weight just being on one side. Core work. Into the sliders or taps. Let's do that first because I messed up the order. Then we'll go to the open band pull. Okay, sliders. Oh, you can't laugh at yourself. 2. I'm inhaling as I step back, exhaling back up to posture. Good job. Okay, now the band pulls. Use my stretchy loopy band. Anchor the feet. Open the arms. Looking straight ahead with some nice deep breathing. Shoulders are part of the core. We use shoulder strength a lot for improving our core strength. Push-ups, planks, pressing. We'll keep them healthy. Open, reach. Good. And then into the deadlift, and we'll finish today with get-up practice. My favorite thing. So, getting over my weights. Hip hinge back. Make sure my back feels okay. Nice deep breath in. Lifting through my hips. Another breath in. Sitting back. When you have dumbbells or kettlebells like this, you can open the palms at the top. That gives you a little bit of shoulders. One thing you want to make sure you're not doing, though, is coming up too far or opening and arching the back and extending the rib cage. That'd be putting some stress on your back. So you've got to play with what weights you have at home and how this feels, not only while you're doing the exercise, but in the days following. Been thinking a lot lately in my head that the deadlift is probably one of the best exercises we can do for longevity. I mean, there's always walking and the cardio, but from a strength perspective, if you lifted something through your hips on the moderately heavy side fairly often, 3 to 5 times a week, you're gonna, that arguably would be very helpful as the years go by, as would this exercise. Okay, so the get up. I'm going to lie on my back. Today I'm taking a ball in my right hand, my right knee is bent, left arm and leg out on an angle. Take some time to teeter your back. Make sure there's not a big arch there so I can adjust my hips. Can kind of feel my abbies. This angle you have to practice because you want to be able to take a roll up onto the elbow and then press your hand down and come up. Now I can't take the weight between my foot and hand. I have to bring my hand in a little bit. Now this is the weight. I come up and through with my knee, sitting into my hip, and I can take a breath and just kind of come up into that half kneeling position. I just want to take some time to bring my front foot around. I've got my back toes tucked, and I'm trying to optimize my shoulder mobility. Thank you, shoulder cars. Looking straight ahead to take a breath in and use my legs to power myself up. I like to focus on something so it helps me step back, get control of my balance, and then control the lower, landing with a soft knee. The front foot opens again. Come down to your down knee hand and weight shift a little bit into the hand so that you're distributed your weight between your hand and your foot. Now you can kick your leg back out, sit on your hip, come to your elbow, and come all the way back down. Now don't worry if you don't get that perfect because this is a practice and I feel like I must have done close to those 10,000 by now. That being said, there's always room for improvement. With time, you find the angle that you can go to quite naturally so that when you come up, you don't feel like you have to adjust your elbow. And then the other thing that I find is just taking some time. Maybe today your knees are bothering you, so this is as far as you go, and then you just come back down. You don't feel like you aren't successful by going into some element of this practice, which will get you up and down from the floor. Now, a lot of times clients struggle with this piece, okay? So it's getting up with one arm in the air. You want to make sure you don't use your shoulders. So I kind of lock down my armpits, got my back toe tucked. Here's a nice deep nasal breath in to support my pelvis and help me stabilize as I stand up. Always use that nice deep breathing. It doesn't necessarily have to be coordinated exactly with the move, but it is going to help you get stronger in a safe way. Alrighty, back to the floor. Thank you so much for building a stronger version of yourself with me in the group today. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care.